Everybody
All right. And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad that you're here. We've got a great show lined up. Kyle Oakley is with us from Louisiana. We're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about all things flying. Thank you for tuning in. In moderation tonight, Anthony Peregringo. He's live streaming from south of the border. Sean Nafsker is with us. Also, KC8ORW is on the line, and we're going to have a great conversation tonight. Talk about all different types of ways that you can fly better and safer, and how you can be an amazing pilot. I want to just encourage you before you tune out and disconnect. Listen, think about what you're doing. We've had a couple big accidents in the last couple weeks, and these are big deals. One of these is a guy who left a family, left a wife and a kid just before Christmas. So that family gets to wake up without dad in the house because of mistakes that were made. They don't have to happen. They don't need to go on. That we're going to discuss some of the issue that just came up. We had a paraglider collide with a Cessna. Both people passed away from that accident. They're still investigating. We're going to discuss some of the things that we found out. And so we're going to fire off the show with that. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about close calls, and we're going to pick Kyle O's brain a little bit about how you can be a better pilot. If you want to follow Kyle O, he's on YouTube. It's a great channel. There's a link in the description. And before we get into business, I want to just mention thanks to all the sponsors who have stuck through thin and thin. And I would say thick, but there's never really been any thickness. It's always been kind of thin. So thank you for sticking around, and thank you for working with the show. Appreciate your sponsorship over the years. One that I want to mention specifically is PPG Smoke. Those things that you enjoy in flying, he's put them in boxes, and he's sending them out like popcorn. So enjoy whatever you're getting from them. ppgsmoke.com is the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he's got all kinds of cool stuff. Many of those things will make you fly safer too. Super cool stuff. ppgsmoke.com. Also, paramotorprops.com has a close spot to my heart. The guys out there at Paramotor Props had to send me a prop. I want to tell you something. I blew up a prop on Saturday. 5 minutes after I blew up the prop, I got online. I got a hold of somebody from paramotorprops.com, and literally within 10 minutes, they sent me a sticker, a picture of a sticker, and the sticker was my shipping label. Not joking, that fast. Guess what? They shipped it that day. It was on my front porch at 8:30 in the morning on Monday from Florida. I'm on the very other end of America. Wow. So just letting you know, Paramotor Props came through like a champ. I don't know if they did on purpose just because of the sponsorship or whatever, but they made it happen. I want to tell you, if you're in need, that's the place to go. Crazy Uncle Bob donated $5 to the super chat. Thank you, Crazy Uncle Bob. Merry Christmas. Really appreciate that contribution. Want to mention also Para Orange Products. Para Orange Products was the first sponsor of the show, and they're near and dear to my heart. So thank you for your sponsorship. If you want to check out their website, paraorangeproducts.com is the website. Also, paraorange.com will get you to the same place. All kinds of great stuff to keep your flying safe and good and all of those good things. One of our regular sponsors, a real sponsor, American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area, you need plumbing. American Allied Drains and Plumbing is your company. Mention Paragliding Talk. You'll get a 10% discount on all of your services. Their phone number is 844-777-9055. Or maybe just have a question about the plumbing stuff. Sometimes it gets complicated. Maybe you don't want to get ripped off. You're worried somebody's ripping you off. Give them a shout out. They're good folks, and tell them that I said to call, and you'll get prime service. Or they might treat you horrible.
Even something as simple as a plug pipe. Hey,
you never know.
They got you. Yeah.
You never know. So glad that you're here. You guys are logging in. 30 people are logged in right now. Oh, 40 people are logged in. Welcome. So glad you're here. If you're in the chat, make sure you say hi. Your name will get written down, put into the spinning wheel of winning things. Sean Nafsker will spin the wheel right about the halftime show, and we're going to give some stuff away. So glad that you are here. If you want to support the show on Patreon or PayPal, if you want to do that, you can do that online. Many people support the show. Thank you for those who do. If maybe you've been watching the show and all you've been doing is just sucking up all this goodness and you haven't contributed back, shame on you. You need to support the show, make this thing great, make it better. And you can do that by a contribution. I put a link, if you're one of those crypto people, I put a link for my Bitcoin wallet if you want to donate to the crypto cause. So anyways, let's fire this thing up. Kyle O, so glad you're here. He's actually in the pharmacy right now.
Oh man, this is a green screen. What are you talking about?
Green screen. Yeah.
No,
Drug.
it's the only place with decent internet in the state right here. We had a fiber run-in special just for this show, Robert. We have to get Mall Pharmacy as a sponsor.
Oh my gosh, DP just logged in. DP donated $10 to the super chat. He said, "Merry Christmas, y'all." So glad to see you, DP. You must have been super busy, just flying your tail off. I haven't seen you for a little while. So glad you're here. Almost want to send him an invite. Kyle O, so let's, and for the people that don't know Kyle O, if there's anybody in here that doesn't know who Kyle O is, that'd be crazy. But hey, there's my daughter.
They're probably better
Baby.
for
I
it.
didn't realize I was in the camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
I seen her.
Yeah. Come, baby. This is my daughter, Saley. She is she's a dog groomer. So she's did you let a dog in here too?
Can you shut the door?
Whose dog is that?
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? Sorry
Yeah.
for the disruption, guys. Oh, Core Activities Group donated $20 to the super chat. Said, "Good evening, gents. Stay rad. Resurgence PPG alum." That's awesome.
Heck
Whoever
yeah.
that is, you are awesome. Thank you for that contribution. Yeah, so that's so funny. You can see the reflection of the bathroom in there. Don't you just love this show? High tech, man.
Very, very got a real nice homey feel to it. You know?
Yeah, it's just home.
It's
Literally just in my bedroom.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
hey,
Well, you
this,
did hear it.
this place, this
You
thing
did.
in Texas. I've not read the report versus just a
Yeah,
quick egg article.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire that off right now. Hopefully, I don't get some kind of weirdness for sharing this, but whatever. Who cares? Let it rip. Here we go. We're gonna screen share. So the headline. This is out of Houston. Houston 11 wrote this report. It says it came down real hard. 2 killed when plane collides with a paraglider. In Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office says 3 sites that were several miles apart from each other, and a parachute was found in one of those scenes. Fort Bend County, Texas. 2 people were killed Tuesday after a small plane struck a paraglider in a rural area of Fort Bend County, authorities say. One body of one of the victims was found in a yard near Weston Lakes, according to Fort Bend County Constable Chad Norville. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, the single-engine Cessna 208 was flying from George Bush Intercontinental Airport to Victoria Regional Airport when it crashed about 9:40 a.m. The Cessna collided midair with a paraglider, and 1 person was on board each aircraft, the FAA official said. Witnesses say they saw one of the aircraft involved just before the impact. He said it was a yellow and white plane. It looked like a stunt plane. It came down real hard. That guy's name is Scott. He said when it came down, it looked like it was in one piece. I got a good glimpse of it just before it hit the ground. Scott said the plane hit ground nose first. He said, quote, "I honestly should have died because I was 20 feet away. If I'd left my house any later, I would have been dead," he said. And I think he meant earlier, maybe. It wasn't immediately clear what led to the collision, which happened in an area known for intensive glider activity. So this is something that I didn't notice right away. Hey, thanks, Shane. Shane just donated $10 to the super chat. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you, sir. There were at least 3 different scenes tied to the crash. So I had a little bit of, I was trying to understand what they were saying. They had 3 different things. And what it meant is the guy, it was ejected from his equipment. His equipment went down in reserve. It sounds like he got thrown from his equipment. So his body was in one place. His gear with the reserve and his glider, much of his gear was attached to the wing Some of this is morbid, and I should probably put a content warning on this, but he was, it sounds like he was ejected, landed in somebody's front yard. And so they found his body, then they found the wreckage of the plane. That was another scene. And then his gear about a mile away. So Air
You gotta
11
imagine, it's like a sedan hit him at 150 miles an hour. You know,
Yeah.
think about that, what it would do. It would
Right.
just explode, you know?
Yep.
It knocked him off. It knocked his reserve out.
Yep.
It ripped the plane up.
Yep.
I mean, what a mess. What a mess.
So
It's-
Air 11 flew over the area, found debris from the plane crash. There's next to a firing club. Another scene was found several miles south of that location. This is where the parachute was found and the reserve, both, if you see the pictures. And the third scene was where the body of one of the victims was found. This was in the Weston Lakes community in Waterloo Court. It's approximately 3,800 feet from the firing range. And the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating. The FAA officials say they plan to release more information tomorrow about the incident. They haven't, that I know of. So the one of the things that I noticed in this article is that the tower lost communication with this airplane. And so those two different things, if you look at the aeronautical charts, it shows that there's heavy glider activity in that area. The pilots were at about 5,000 feet above sea level when the collision happened, and more details are coming, but it's really important that we consider what we're doing, whether we're cagers or whether we're free flight, paramotor, whatever it is, you're in the air. There needs to be some things that we can do. So I want to talk about that with you, Kyle. Mom donated $10 to the super chat. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. It's Christmas time.
So coming from an airplane background and, you know, doing paramotors as much as I do, I mean, the one thing that has always stood out is you have to look. You know, I've always been a look out the window kind of guy, and that's probably what led me to paramotors so much is the visibility. You can see everything. So, but in airplanes, there's a lot of gauges, dials, instrumentation. You know, sometimes you work in the radios. A lot of times your gaze is in the cockpit and not out front. And again, the speeds that these things can close. I mean, a paraglider is basically standing still versus an airplane. So it closes pretty quick. Just a brief mention, I was free flying over Waco one time in Texas, and a C-130, big four blade cargo plane the military uses, coming leveled out head on right at me, like collision course. But I could see it coming. I didn't know what to do exactly. I started making like a couple of turns, and then I realized I had a strobe on my helmet. Turned the strobe on, and they banked away. Like I was looking in the window, and I got out of there so I didn't hit their wake turbulence. That was a big concern as well because of the size of the aircraft. But you know, things close fast, and if they were coming up behind me, I mean, how do you even know? I don't know the situation with this particular thing, but I mean, if a guy was flying a paramotor and a Cessna came in from behind him and the guy was, you know, distracted looking down at something, it wouldn't take just a brief moment to, you know, for that to happen. I mean, as low as the odds are, I don't know of another time that this has happened. It likely has, maybe not in the US or maybe in the past, not reported, but
You're talking about a paramotor.
paramotor hitting an
paraglider.
airplane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never.
I
There's
don't think
nothing.
so. I know
Mm-mm.
parachutes have hit airplanes. Skydivers have hit them before. Seen a video of that. It wrecked both of them. The guy lived, I think, but I mean,
You know, and you'd think that the odds would be that the airplane would hit the paramotor or the airplane would hit the skydiver or something like that because it goes faster. But no.
but that may be the case. I mean, it very well could have been the pilot wasn't looking. And I mean, who knows? We may never know. Who knows, man? It's sad all the way around. I'm always looking around. I fly at an airport most often. I live near an airport. I've operated out of airports more than anywhere else, I imagine. But even outside of that, you got to look around. The rule is to look around. You scan everything real good, and then you glance at your gauges, and then you scan everything real good, and then you glance at your gauges. With a paramotor, you don't have gauges, hopefully, I used to have them on my throttle, like had a temperature CHT and a RPM tachometer. And I was monitoring engine temperature. I had a motor that had the tendency to overheat if you just pinned it for a long time. That's about the only situation I would say put something visible, but the tachometer immediately got put in the back. I was staring at this thing one day flying and looked up, and there was an airplane out there that I missed. And it wasn't a danger close situation, but just the fact that I looked up and like, I should have seen that thing a while ago. It gave me pause. And it
Hey, Kyle.
immediately, yeah.
Since we're on that subject, Mad Sloper asked, would a 3-mile strobe light prevented this recent accident?
You know, if the guy was looking, maybe. I mean, again, without all the details and knowledge of the entire scenario, I don't know. I mean,
So I want to just make a statement right here. And this
guy could have been, the paraglider guy could have been doing an acro run and just flew straight down into the plane. I mean, we don't know exactly what was going down.
we'll
out
find
there,
out.
but if everybody's looking, a strobe does help.
Yep. A strobe will help. And this is something that I took right out of the gate. We were having this discussion when I was getting signed off for my P3 and or P2 actually. What you can do if you let's say you have that maybe 5 seconds that you're able to see an airplane, you hear it first typically, but let's say it's on your heading, you see it, it's aiming right at you. If you're fortunate enough to see that, that's a rarity by itself because you're looking probably at a horizon type situation. But also your glider, it has its most discrete profile when if you're heading straight towards the airplane that's coming at you, your footprint is very small. So that the idea is to turn away and bank as hard as you can to get the top of your glider as your profile
to show it, right?
Yep. Change your glider. And if you can typically do that pretty quick just by turning yourself into some wing overs. Obviously it's
That's
something
the
you want to work.
First thing I started to do when that big cargo plane leveled out at me.
Right.
I mean, I saw it coming from several miles away. Me and another pilot we were in a race in Texas. He was about a mile off to the side. We were both going north, and I was at 4,000 feet. I remember, and this guy in the plane leveled out, and it was just dead on, man. There was no relative motion. We were just closing the gap, and I started to do some banks, just like what you're talking about, and then it hit me that I got a strobe, and so I pushed the button, and as soon as the strobe started flashing, these guys banked immediately. I mean, they had to have seen that flash. But I was on a white glider, you know, there's clouds and blue sky. I mean, I'm basically camouflaged. So
Sean Wallace donated $20 to the super chat. Thank you, kind sir. He said, thanks for paragliding talk. I've got a quick video. I did not get permission to share this, but I'm going to share it anyways. And I will give a shout out to the guy. His handle on YouTube is Yogi Bear Paramotor Pilot. And I want to let me just share this real quick.
Sounds familiar. I might.
He got a really close call. It's going to happen fast. So if you can see, I don't know
if
if you can see my mouse.
I did see this.
So here we go. Should be able to see how close that was. Boom. Oh, you know what?
And if you can see it that close in a GoPro, you know, that's like butt clenching close.
Yes.
Yeah, that reminds me of the one that the free flight guy was on still on the tether. And the Cessna plane literally had to have come within 10 feet of clipping the wing of the line.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And the guy was up like a couple thousand feet or something like that.
Yeah, if you could see it in a GoPro, it's stupid close.
Right.
That should be a little better footage. It flew right underneath him.
Yeah. And you know, guy could have seen him. I mean,
right. The Cessna, the private plane could have seen him and probably just wanted to come close and say hi, or obviously he's coming straight at him anyway. But
sometimes, you know, when you're above the plane, like if you've got blue sky, you know, in the background, it's a little more, it's like a power line. You can see a power line looking up at the sky, but you're looking down and the ground is behind it. It's camouflage.
So I'm seeing in the chat that the paramotor guy was a 30-day pilot, paramotor pilot, and I guess he had family kind of tracking him. Fly Swamper has quite a bit of information on him. The guy was out to fly over his house and wave at his wife and kids who were tracking him.
Oh
Oh
no,
my gosh.
how terrible.
Yeah.
30 days you've been doing it. And gosh, man, that's
It just
sad.
goes to show you, it goes to show you how important it is to have good safe practices.
So has anybody looked at how close they were to the airport? Or I've not looked at the map to see just, you got George Bush Intercontinental. If you're out there in line with that runway, even if you're, 15 miles away out from under the B airspace, if you're in line with that runway, you're going to have traffic, moving in and out of there. I've not researched the details on it, but anytime I'm around a busy airport, I'm looking at the runway directions and even further away outside of the airspace, perfectly legal. It's, flying in controlled airspace. Obviously it's not allowed just as is, but there's a caveat to that I teach in my class. A lot of people don't even realize. If you talk to the controllers and they approve what it is you're asking to do, you can do it. You can fly in Bravo, Charlie, restricted bombing areas. I mean, whoever's controlling that airspace can give you permission to fly there. You just have to talk to them. I've driven to towers before. I've called them on the phones. It's as easy as that. You just communicate with them, on the ground is easier, and kind of set up a plan. If they know where you're at and what you're doing, they can put everybody else around you, and things like this don't have to happen. Even in busy airspace, it's pretty comforting knowing that everybody in that airspace is being watched and controlled, but it actually makes it much safer as far as like a midair, accident versus going out into the wild blue yonder and just everybody looking out for themselves. So always consider that as far as, hey, I want to fly at this park right in the middle of town, right? But town's under class Charlie or class Bravo. Well,
I'm
assuming.
Tower and okay, let's talk about that for a second. Calling the tower, there's two different ways we can call the tower. You can get the phone number directly from, you can go to the internet and find
definitely the phone number to do something like this. Yes.
Yeah. You make a phone call. Hey, I would like to fly. Is it cool? Just want to let you know. Try to have try to be concise. If you sound like you're bumbling and you don't know what you're talking about, they're likely going to reject your flight plan. Have a plan. Or
if you're asking to fly in a place where they're operating, like if you kind of give it a little bit of research, if you're asking to fly right off the end of the runway that they're using, they're going to be like, no, probably not.
Yep.
But if you're out to the side away from their operations and, you're under and away from the jet traffic or whatever, they may not have a problem with it as long as they know you're there and you're not going anywhere else. Their job, their prime directive is to separate traffic. So if you give them some way to do that, they might be fine with you doing this activity, as long as you stay within the parameters. But, that's all discussed ahead of time. I called Barksdale Air Force Base. It's Charlie one morning and asked them like, hey, I want to fly this thing, over there to the west of you. I'm just a mile from the runway. Like I can see it right there, but I know they don't do anything over there. So where I was asking to go was not any sort of hindrance on their activities. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. I didn't even have to have a radio. I just told them where I was going to be, how high, how long.
Yep.
And it's pretty good.
More than likely, those guys that work in the tower are aviation fanatics. And every person that I've met that's an aviation fanatic is a fan of free flight and paragliding, paramotoring. It's in your DNA. Having that said, the other way that you can communicate with them is through airband radio and finding the frequency, and you can find the frequency on your aeronautical charts. And so this comes in handy when you're flying from one place to the other. Like, remember when Woody and what's his name used to fly all the way across from one airport to the other? They would check the weather and fly 100 miles or whatever with their paramotors and stay at the airport. They would use airband and communicate with the towers, letting them know they're coming in.
There's the air route traffic control centers. There's not so much towers at the airport, but they control the large areas, the regions, Houston Center, Fort Worth Center, Houston, we have a problem. That's Houston Center they're talking to. Well, these centers, for example, if I'm doing a really high flight, maybe I'm climbing just as far as I can, or I want to go up to 10,000 feet because it's, colder up there and I'm hot on the ground, I might call them up and say, hey, I'm an ultralight, no radio, slow speed. I'm going to be climbing over such and such airport to 10, 12,000 feet between 7 p.m. and dark. And they're like, okay, what's your call sign or whatever? And I'm like, no radio, but tell the big traffic to watch out, And so even if they're not talking to you, they can take the jets that may be coming across at 10, 12,000 feet and divert them around where you're going to be. If you say you're going to be over Spring Hill Airport at 12,000 feet in a tiny little slow ultralight, they might have, they may be talking to a B-52 that's coming in on approach to Barksdale, and they could tell them, hey, give me 20 degrees to the right. We got some ultralight activity at high altitude in this area. So they can direct traffic around you, even in uncontrolled airspace.
Yeah.
If it's something like that.
I want to say, when I first read this article, I was like, no, this is the very last thing that I wanted to hear come across the news network. What? No, not a paraglider, not a paramotor. What? How? No. And the only saving hope that I have for the future of our sport is that people are going to become more aware. They're going to become more disciplined, and without a bunch of legal governmental fingers involved. And that's, I'm telling you, that's one of the things that makes our sport so great, is the freedom. And so these incidences attack the freedom that we have. It's a mistake on our part. Mistakes were made. Obviously, we can talk about the idea of not having ADSB. Who was it that just brought up a Kevin Collins? There is an app that you can have. A 30-day paramotor pilot's probably not going to be looking at an app on his phone. He's going to be just flying, scared to death with his hands on the toggles, probably a little deep in the brakes. And we, even as a seasoned free flight pilot with an instrument panel on my deck, I can look at stuff all day long while I'm flying. And I don't even like to look down at that. I mean, literally the last year of flying, I've been flying with no instruments. But having that said, the only good two things that I saw coming out of this story with the FAA investigating is that, one, this pilot who was flying through this airspace probably wasn't paying attention that in the aeronautical chart, it did show glider activity, excessive glider activity, or a lot of glider activity in that area. And that's probably, the guy probably talked to his instructor and said, this is an area where he trains or whatever, who knows. But the fact that they had a glider on the chart, that's a big deal. The other aspect of this story that I was like, okay, maybe we'll be okay, is that it said that the tower had lost communications with him. So what possibly happened is that guy started heading into that airspace. The tower probably said, hey, I just let you know, whatever airplane number you're flying towards, such and such, be aware of aircraft, because they will let you know stuff like that if they see you on their radar. And they
traffic altitude type unknown, such and such heading, such and such out, speed. But they can see, they've called me up over Arkansas. It's like, you got some unknown traffic, moving. They couldn't tell what altitude, but it was ducks. It's like a flock of ducks. I went right by them at 7,000 feet. I was like, yeah, hey, there was ducks at $7,000. And I gave them the info, and they were able to relay that to other pilots coming through the area. But they can see things. I don't know how visible a paramotor would be on the radar, whether it's primary. Obviously, there's no transponder, but some of those places have capability to see birds, in the air on radar. So it's something. But, and even if you do everything right, I mean, there's still just accidents. The fact that it's only happened once, I doubt we're going to get any sort of legislation out of the deal. I
I
saw a
hope
lot
not.
of Facebook, they're gonna shut us down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, man, it's happened
I hope
once,
not.
and
Yeah.
most people can easily operate, in the same airspace without that, without pointing any fingers, who's to blame. Maybe they're both to blame. It could have just been neither one of them saw it coming before it happened. Who knows? Who knows?
Kevin
Well,
can
that it
fly
just
brought
takes
that
a
up.
second. I mean, it just takes a second. Boom. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? A
Yeah.
plane flies fast, and we fly so slow.
I mean,
It-
I've hit,
yeah.
deer and dogs and stuff jumping out in the road in front of me. You can't do anything, even if you're looking sometimes. It's like, boom, it's there. And it could be a situation like that. Maybe the guy dropped something and reached in the bottom of the plane, looked up, boom, who knows?
Hitting a deer is a higher probability too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That happens all the time. Probably every night somebody hits a deer, but only one person's ever crashed a plane into a paraglider. So we got that going for us.
Yep.
It's just it's a terrible feeling all the way around. It's something I always think about flying. Just the other night, I was did a cross country from my house over to town and back on the paramotor, just by myself. There was nobody around. It was kind of fun. I just put on some music, and when I come by the airport, I saw my friend Jake taking off in his Cessna, and he went out to the southwest. I watched him just as far as he'd go. I went over to town, flew around the park, on the median of the highway, and as I was climbing to go back towards the house, he came back over town at maybe 500 feet around the edge of town. And, it kind of like, I looked up like, oh, there's the airplane. And then I realized who it was, but they just boom, there he was. If he had been head on, I mean, I don't know if he could see me or not, but by the time I got to the airport, he had done landed, put his plane up. I flew a circle around his hangar and waved at him. But things happen fast. You may be looking around at something and look over, even with the visibility I had. Of course, I was 10 feet off the ground in front, next to the highway. I'm not looking for airplanes exactly at that altitude. But when I started to climb, I looked up and immediately I saw him right there. But, I always had that in my mind. He's going to be probably coming back.
And that's the thing too. Like out where I'm at, they have the crop dusters.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye out for those guys because they could be anywhere.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
They come pop out from the corn.
Yeah,
Literally, they'll be in the
will
corn.
see a
Come
crop
pop.
duster at 10 feet sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Will
Typically
Fly
not
donated.
late December.
Will Fly donated $5 to the super chat. Said Resurgence PPG rocks and Merry Christmas all. Thank you, kind sir, for your contribution. We're gonna spin the wheel, Sean, if you're ready. We're
Yeah.
gonna let it rip.
Oh yeah. I'm ready,
Spinny
man.
wheel of Winnie things.
I've been busy taking everybody's name. I ain't taking no more names. Sorry, y'all.
No more names.
More names. Yep. You see my
when-
screen here?
After we come back from the spinning wheel of Winnie things, we're going to talk about close calls and do a little discussion on close calls. So by the way,
What are folks winning?
yeah, there tonight, it's going to be a Fly Products neck gaiter coming your way. Fly
Gonna
Products.
say Flash Cruiser.
All right, we
Flash
can't see
Cruiser.
it because I'm sharing my screen, but
Yeah, I know.
all right, you
They
ready?
can see my little screen.
I'm
Yeah,
spinning
go ahead
it.
and spin the wheel.
Here we go.
Yep. By the way, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic. If you want to sign up to learn how to kite better, Calamity Kite Clinic is your place. The website, calamityKiteClinic.com. Also, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden runs the school in Nebraska. If you're interested in some top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. Talk about flying in the corn. That's the place where that's going to happen. So glad so many people in here, man. There's a lot. Yeah, there is a lot of people in here. 65
Merry
people.
Christmas, y'all.
That's what
Yeah.
I was going to
Christmas.
say. I got 500 Hearn coin on that. I think
Yeah.
I just won.
Ooh, I greased this wheel really good too.
Clark Kent,
It
that
keeps
guy,
moving.
Clark Kent is an ugly raptor. He's got to do it. Do it. Stay there.
Oh,
No
Gerald.
way.
Gerald, go
Congratulations, Gerald
All right, congrats, Gerald.
Gerald.
I gotta say, Clark Kent, he's been mentioning, like, I've been here 2-3 years. I have not won yet.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Clark's one of y'all's locals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd have been nice because then I wouldn't have to pay for shipping. Hand it to him. Hot Butters Steve donated $20 to the super chat. He said, "Merry Christmas, Robert. I bought a mistletoe belt buckle so far. It has not worked as intended." Hot Butters Steve is a hot dumpster fire. Thank you for your $20 contribution.
Yes,
Nothing B-rated there.
that's all we
That's
can say. That's all, yes.
Yep.
Hi, Mom.
Mom made it on the show
Hi,
tonight.
Merry Christmas, Kyle.
Merry Christmas.
Much love, much love.
Correct.
She's obviously a fan.
Yahoo.
Mom, I thought,
Obviously.
Mom, this is Kyle. Kyle, Mom. Sounds
Oh,
like you guys
I
already
know
met.
Mom.
So
We've
awesome.
met on the internet.
She knows more people than I do now at this
Yes,
point.
I do. Yes, I do.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yep. I'm the
She knows more
PR.
people than I do.
Uh-huh.
I don't get as much Facebook time. I don't get as much internet time as Mom does.
My mom
not
came to
here.
the pharmacy
You're
today and
retired.
she was asking me about my hair. Like, what's wrong with your hair? Why is this
Yeah.
curly? Why is this
I didn't know
straight?
that.
And I just retorted with, well, you made it. So I don't know. You tell me why you did
Oh,
this.
it's
I was
business in the
expecting,
front, party in the
did you-
back.
I was expecting, did you see it 6 months ago? Because it was all over the place, and I
yeah.
fixed it.
Yeah, she told me I should not put the like the taming gel on it. It's like,
That's funny.
There you go.
you don't want me to go out in public without that.
Jill. Yeah.
Gerald donated $5 to the super chat. Thank you, Gerald. Just paid for his shipping. Thank you, kind sir. What a great group of people we have. You guys are
All
awesome.
right.
The fun
I
bunch.
love my PR family.
Yep.
Thank you all. I had to come on here because it's the eve before Christmas Eve. So
Christmas Eve Eve.
I'm like
Yep.
so excited about tonight. And I thought, you know what? I told Robert, I'm like, can I jump on for a little bit?
I'm just
Sure, huh?
excited that I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
You know what I
believe it.
got for Christmas?
What'd you get, Kyle?
I got a week of San Diego weather.
Oh, is it nice over there?
75s and 55s all the way across the board.
What in the world?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Same here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you sent your weather this way because it's pouring down rain as we speak.
We traded.
Yeah, right now it is. Oh yeah, high precipitation.
Yeah,
100% chance of rain all the way through till about 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we are blown out though. It's going to be strong winds. I think I'm going to do some kiting tomorrow. I've got like a couple Christmas things, but in between, I'm probably just going to go out to the yard and do some high wind kiting. I might make a video.
High wind kiting.
High wind kiting.
Speaking of high wind kiting, did you ever see? I know Ripman's in the chat. Did you ever see Ripman get plucked?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Bro.
saw all those guys get plucked.
Those guys are wild, man. You bring your wing out in that kind of wind. Brave.
I like it.
He got thrown.
I was
Just,
jealous
I mean-
I wasn't there to play with them.
It was almost like like he wound up in a slingshot, and when he popped that thing, I was like, ping.
Yeah, it was strong and gusty too.
Yeah,
It
looked
looked
fun.
ridiculous.
I've done it myself. It is pretty
Mhm.
fun. I did it at the bay, big grassy area. I'm like, what could go wrong? It's about the size of 3 football fields, and I'm like, it should be fine. There's people sitting, reading books, all this stuff. I got dragged over every inch of that whole park, man. People were like, "Are you kidding me?" They're watching me. Bad decisions, folks. Careful.
See, when I do something like that, I intentionally leave a snail trail. You know, if there's a little bit of moisture in the grass, you leave a nice little trail where you've been, you know, a little hop and a jump, and kind of confuses people. Like, what the heck's been in the grass?
Kevin Can Fly is going to come visit you. He said,
Heck yeah.
Carlo, I'm coming to visit this summer. Not sure when yet,
Yeah,
but I'm coming.
Because his forecast looked stupid. Like, it made me sad for him. It was like 7 days in a row of 40 degrees and rain. Just
Yankee-
40 degrees and rain the whole week is what I saw when I looked it
Oof.
up last. I made a Facebook post to him. It's like, man, I'm sorry, Kevin. I laugh and then I want to cry.
Brutal.
We have had a week of rain here a few times. Probably coming January, February. But
It
Christmas
happens.
week's nice. I'm excited. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm going to go up into the sky.
There you
I'm
go.
jealous.
Can't wait.
Last
get
year for Christmas, I
lake
thermaled
effect.
for 2 or 3 hours. Maybe it was just a couple hours. I did like a Christmas Eve thermal flight. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the best, man. When it's like Christmas Day or the day after Christmas, and it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, get a glider out, and it's like, oh,
For
yeah.
sure. For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll do
So
that.
I want to talk about close calls, and I want to just make a statement. Your close call was just 1 degree away from disaster. And so when we consider our decisions, what we're doing, realize that every single time that you're reaching for your gear, whether you're free flight pilot or whether you're motor pilot, you're taking a certain amount of risk. When I got into the sport, I had a motorcycle, and I would ride my motorcycle to work every day. And so I'm riding every single day, and every single day there's situations that could be detrimental on the motorcycle.
hurtful.
Yeah, hurtful, life-changing hurts. And in California, you're allowed to split lanes, and if you don't know what that is, just look it up. You can just go in between traffic. Once traffic slows down, motorcycles take off, and it's usually between the fast lane and the middle lane. And you do your thing. You just watch out for mirrors, and everybody's happy. Seems like it works out very well because you're heightened alert. When you're riding your motorcycle and you're splitting lanes, you are very, very focused on your task, which is to not hit anything. And I came to the conclusion that I needed to mitigate the risks a little bit because I'm flying paragliders and riding motorcycles, and my life expectancy was at like a 20%. It was in the red zone. And that's something you need to consider when what you're doing with your life. So obviously, there are things that we can do to become better pilots. One of them, obviously, is to watch paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. It's very important.
So if I fly a paramotor and I ride a motorcycle, I got a life expectancy of 20%. Really?
And you're single male, so it actually goes
Probably
to 10%.
less for you.
Look at me.
You just doubled it by doing the two. But you can't do the
10%.
two at the same time. So
Well, I
Robert,
follow
remember,
Standard's advice. Wear the same colored shoes as your wing, and that ups you 20%. So, yeah.
obvious.
Heard that
No,
before.
when I came out to San Diego, just a week before I got there, a couple years back, there was a midair at Torrey. Two fatalities, just right there.
Yeah.
Free flying at the beautiful coastal site. It doesn't have to be near a busy airport.
It happens.
And the most close calls that I see are people flying low or not leaving themselves an out. Just putting themselves in a bad position to start with. It's not a midair collision, but it's a collision with the ground, which, more or less happens every flight to some extent, whether it's the soles of your feet or, the side of your hoop. That just depends on where you were at when things went sideways. But people crashing into the ground is, in my mind, it's just totally unacceptable. I mean, it's, unless the gear breaks, it almost never breaks in the air, right?
Unnecessary.
Yeah. Somebody's motor goes out and they crash into a tree. Why? That tree was there before your motor died. It's got to look ahead. And from a free flight background, that's from the time you go off the mountain, you're looking at where you're going. So, that's kind of, it's weird getting into the sport all at the same time with motors and free flight. I took that free flight mindset and put it straight over onto the motors, and not just pretend that the motor is not going to work all the time. If it works, great. It's like a magic button to get you higher, but you got to treat it like it's not going to work at every point of the flight. And it's saved me so many times. Just, motor out. I know where I'm going because I've already looked ahead. And you just get into this mindset where you're always looking at where you're going to be. Always, you never second guess yourself or get in a bad spot. We were talking about that the other day when I did a video about flying into a fog bank. And that was the last time I realized that I was over something I couldn't land on safely. It was a swamp. I was over a swamp with no options. But of course I couldn't see it because of the fog. I wouldn't have put myself there on purpose. But that was the last time that I remember being in a spot that was unacceptable. So it was a strange feeling too.
Gosh.
I've just, whether I'm 10 feet off the ground, 1 foot off the ground, or 1,000 feet, I always know where I'm going. It's rudimentary fundamentals. And if everybody will treat it like that, it'll get a lot of people out of a lot of trouble a lot of the times.
Tim Garvey just shared a video with me. I'm going to share it with you guys. I hope he doesn't mind. This was in Colombia. You're going to see a plane very quickly.
Oh, yeah, saw it.
I mean, we're talking like milliseconds. Let me see.
That was even closer than the last video.
Yeah, and you see him bank off to the side right when he sees the paraglider. You can see that
Yeah.
Whoa. And now, if you notice, that plane was coming at him fast enough that he didn't even have time to look. He probably heard it and then looked. And by the time he looked, that would have been the end right there.
Yeah.
So
and that was coming from the front.
Yeah. I really believe that the future of air sports is going to involve automatic dependent surveillance.
Well, we've got the technology now
ADSBs.
to have it in a phone. I mean,
right.
You know, you can have a phone that if everybody was on the same page. Now that's going to be the other thing. If you've got 50 apps and none of them work together, what good does that do?
Right.
You know, you might have one, like there's these GPS apps like Lock to Me. That's one that I'm aware of. And
what is it called?
Select your friends, like Lock to Me.
Lock to Me.
It gives you the position of all the people but you've got to put those people on there. And
right.
It gives like a live tracking position. There was another one that we used at one point when there's a whole group of us flying around. I'm just going to glance through my apps here. Maybe I can find it. It's been years. But yeah, there's Lock to Me. There's Live Track. No, that's something else.
Now I have,
anyway, there's
when the free flight guys get a big day on the weather, the day before, what we did is we created a spreadsheet, and something that a guy brought up that I thought was a really good idea. When you create your profile, maybe there's not enough room for you to put all the details of your glider make and model, colors, a phone number, whatever, but you can put a lot of that information in your like we use Telegram, and but what you can do is put it in your picture. Take a picture of your gear, take a picture of your setup. A lot of people like to take a selfie or whatever. Try to take it in a way that you can see your glider. And then we talked about having the phone numbers, and then there's a way you have to pay for it in the beginning, but you use your GPS tracker. And again, this is not real-time information. It is real-time information, but you're not going to have instant access unless you're really savvy. Some guys will pull it up. Like I was flying with Brad one time, and he pulled up his tracker and was looking at the guys that were flying like 100 miles north of us. And he's like, oh yeah, they're doing this and that, and they're at this altitude, or they're at this mountain range. And I thought, my word, that's crazy. He's watching another guy fly. But it has, like you said, it has to be at some point we're gonna have to bridge the gap. I made this comment about something else with air conditioning. I said, what has to happen is the Ziploc people need to have a meeting with the Lucky Charms people and bridge the gap. There's things that we have that are just, everybody's making stuff. We just got to connect them all. And
that does a Lucky Charms Ziploc. That's what we need.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole transponder ADSB thing. It's very helpful. It separates air traffic. I mean, you don't see as many airplanes colliding, I guess. Well, maybe I guess more.
Well, Matt Sloper just commented. He said the RC community is going to have Wi-Fi tracking on RC models starting in 2024. Why not PG and PPG? Well, that I have a feeling that's going to happen. I have a feeling.
You know, something with that, I kind of worry about that, because you get so many signals in the sky, then it gets confusing. They don't know whether you're an RC airplane or whether you're a paramotor pilot.
But you're something.
know?
You see
But
something's there.
yeah,
I mean, you don't want to hit anything.
that's true.
So who cares what
that-
it is? But
maybe we need to have Yankee Todd Falstad come on, because he's got some really good he's got some great information. If I could say, if anybody has bridged the gap well in the paramotoring and fixed wing, it's him. His background in aviations is it goes deep.
yeah,
So maybe I'll reach out. I know he's in the chat.
nice
so
guy too. I've
Oh,
met him
yeah.
before in real life.
Have a
Yankee.
Kylo Yankee-a-thon.
I'm still
Hey, that
waiting for
sounds
him to
awesome.
come.
I
to
got a
San
video
Diego.
of that it's coming up somewhere in the editor where I flew his paramotor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Nice.
was traveling through when he went out west on his recent vacation. He stopped near here and ended up coming over and flying with me one evening.
So I want to talk a little bit about, since I have you on, rebuilding props. I know this is way boring compared to the other
No.
stuff, but I
No,
want
that's
to
what I
mention
do,
this.
man.
He's
So-
sneaking a personal freebie in there.
Heck yeah,
This whole show was designed literally for that.
that's right.
I
To help
mean,
Robert
come on.
get better.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's
I
it.
created the show.
That's it.
Do you want the best to come and talk to you? You got to give them a platform to talk. So what ends up happening is we're flying out in the desert. On
No, we were
launch,
flying.
I'm running uphill. I flew for a second. I'm running uphill both ways, and the wind died. I tried to get in. I got into the air for about, I don't know,
Just
a
long enough
half
to
a
fly into
second.
the dirt, right?
Yeah, and my prop decided it wanted to hit the dirt for some reason. It just got long for a second, and then now it's short. And so, anyways, I purchased everything that I need except for the fiberglass. Or not fiberglass, but the help me out here. The black and white.
The chalk stuff, the filament,
No, the
epoxy,
black and gray carbon fiber.
carbon fiber. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm having a hard time. I don't want to buy it from Amazon or whatever. I was trying to just go somewhere and buy it, but is that something that's hard to come by?
I mean, eBay's
You
a
got it
good place
online?
to get it.
Okay.
You can get a big old bag of chopped carbon fiber for like $15.
Okay.
It's not super expensive. That's enough to do hundreds of propeller tips.
Yeah, I should have just ordered it when I was online, but I thought
I just need to send you a prop starter, like prop repair starter kit.
I'm
prop
almost
repair
done.
Starter kit.
I have almost everything. It's just I didn't have that.
That would be a great product.
My new
Heck
props came way fast, so I want to keep them nice so that they can be nice for the mold. I mean, props are not cheap, man. So
No.
I would like
Hey.
to have that as my backup set if I go flying, so that it
Hey,
doesn't happen again.
Hey, remind me, Robert, when I get back, I'll give you some prop tape too. You need to protect.
I have
it.
prop tape.
All right, then you got to put it on. And use it.
I tore it off just before I flew because it was flapping in the wind on the ends. Yeah. Yep.
Not that it would have saved it, I'm sure. With
No, it would not have helped on
with
that one.
with that amount of decompression into the earth there.
For the record,
I prepped some molds last night, or was it this morning? Oh, the days are starting to bleed together again. That's always fun. But I've got some ready to do a prop repair. I got a couple repairs lined up I've been needing to get to. And then I've also got some other molds I'm making. I'm making some throttles, some carbon fiber paramotor throttles. Going to be some Kylo custom stuff, custom handmade things coming real soon. I hope. I don't know. The molds may be a bust. I ain't taking them apart yet, but they're ready now.
Are you still doing the stickers trained by Kylo?
A guy sent me a brick of stickers. John DeLong from Canada. He sent me a brick of stickers years ago. I've just been giving those out to people. He's the one that made them.
I want one. I
Yeah.
want one.
Well, I'm out. I'm out.
Oh,
I got to re-up. I got to re-up on the sticker game. And I think I probably should put together a website, for the school and just to kind of cover all of it, products. And I'm just going to build some stuff. So
gosh, who was
Heck
that?
yeah.
Randy Clark just sent me a video. My word. I'm going to share this real quick. What in the world? Look at this. Okay. So this is probably here locally. Watch this guy. No look, turns right into him. Who was that?
Oh my gosh.
That looked like Mark's wing.
That
I
is
hope that wasn't
horrible.
Mark.
That is a
What?
no look. Didn't
Yeah.
clear his turn. Turned right into somebody there.
Oh.
Wow.
That follows the look lean turn.
Yeah,
you know?
look lean turn.
That's
I don't know
Those
what that
moves
was.
like that will make you end up looking.
This was his comment. He said, we both had our eye on a helicopter that was taking off from the valley floor. So they were both watching something on the ground. One of them decided to turn, didn't look, didn't clear the turn. Same thing, free flight. Listen, when you're on the ridge, head on a swivel. That's what we say.
and that's all it takes is that
Constantly
one
looking.
distraction. You
Mhm.
know,
And then you're
you get
tangled
your
up.
eye focused on something, and
Yep.
Yeah, but both of those pilots are exceptional pilots. They've been flying a long time. So those are, obviously little fluke incidences, but
Okay,
yeah,
you
it
all
got
makes
it
sense.
takes,
It's on
though,
video.
man. That is
You
all
have
it
2
takes.
seconds to answer this correctly. What do? You're tangled up. Glider and glider, you're tangled up. That's it.
Reserve.
That's it.
That's all you
Reserve's
got left.
answer. Throw. Both of you throw your reserve as fast as you possibly can.
All you can do.
Don't try to fix it. Don't try to play games. Throw that bad boy. Throw them both. You have a much better chance of making it. That crash that happened, Kyle O, at Torrey Pines, had those guys throwing their reserves, been a different story.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought,
Neither one of them.
one did, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, neither one.
Oh,
They try to fix it. We have this idea that, well, I can fix it. I can fix it. No. You're probably not going to untangle yourself. If you can't untangle yourself on the ground, when your feet are on the ground, what makes you think you're going to untangle yourself in the air? It's a scary thing. And if you get anywhere near each other, man, be on your real, just best behavior. So many, man, this is a good show. A lot of feedback videos and Pete, my word.
But to get people talking and thinking is important. That's what these shows
Exactly.
really, the beauty of them is the sharing of information,
Yeah.
stories,
Right.
knowledge, videos. It makes you think. And if you're thinking,
Yeah.
you might do better. There's some luck involved, but study hard before you go making the moves, and certainly look before you leap. That's aviate. Biggest part of it's being able to see what's going on. Just look. That's why I love our craft so much, is you can see everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I'm flying along, occasionally I'll do a 90 degree and look back behind me. Just, make sure nobody's overtaking me from behind.
Yeah.
That's the one direction you're not seeing. You don't have rear view mirrors unless you have a
Yeah.
Kylo throttle. You could be like, hey, I see somebody back.
it drives me crazy.
Yeah, so-
that you can't see directly behind you. You
So
know what I
tell
mean?
me
Like,
about that. What do you, so you're making a custom throttle? Is it
Yeah.
just what form fit for your hand? Why
Won't
did
fit
you need
for
to do
any
that?
hand. It's custom, man. I
And-
make them for little girls, big
It's just
men.
for fun or what?
And now I'm gonna sell these things.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
I've been working on them for a couple of years. I've got it down pretty good. I make all the little parts and everything.
Spring return and
Got a nice, good button, big screw down leads, carbon fiber body. We can do carbon or aluminum handles.
you doing you're doing cruise control?
Yeah, it would just be a simple, we ain't doing like the off grid type thing. That's pretty nice, but
That's pretty slick.
just
I have that.
just a wing nut, clamp it down if you want to set it. If you want that, it's pretty straightforward.
I finally used
I
it,
like
by the
that.
way, for actual. I needed
Mhm.
it. Cruise
But they're
control.
going to be strong, light, have good components put together well. And then, if I sell a few of them, then I recoup my investment. And I've got some cool throttles on my fleet. So that's what I'm aiming at. I had
That's
some that
super
were
cool.
3D printed that I really liked, but they were brittle and they would, the triggers would break and the wiring was crappy. And, I got the good wire, the good buttons, the good hardware.
Dude,
Molded them so that everything fits exactly right.
Todd Scandrett, he said, can you ask Kyle if he can recommend a prescription for those of us that have defeated anorexia? Oh,
Christmas
glad I didn't have
dinner is not, not
Well,
an answer. Yep.
That's funny.
Sandra in the Sky said, Merry Christmas all. May you get cool
Merry
parrot gear.
Christmas.
Come on, Santa. Come on, Santa.
That's right.
We want gear.
That's right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Robert says, Mom, stop. Make sure you stock my stockings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, good presents, Mom. Don't be holding back now. I know you're on a
Oh.
fixed income, but I need a new glider.
Put
Yeah.
a glider in there, Mom. Put that in my stocking.
Get that glider in there. I
It's gonna
saw
take
pretty.
her. It's
Oh,
gonna
I
take her
got
a
two
third
gliders
longer
in the
to get
mail
it.
today,
Yeah.
actually. I'm excited about that.
I saw the best tree topper. It was a paramotor on a little wire, and it's going brrrr and just flying around the tree.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah,
that?
saw that.
Did
I
you take
need
a
that.
video? Did you do a video?
No, I don't have
Yeah.
that, but I need that.
I've got one part of it right here. I could,
Oh, you do? Yeah.
That's so cute.
I just need the
Just
little
make
Christmas tree
it-
thing.
Just
Yeah.
make it carousel. That's all you need.
Yeah, a guy gave me this for Christmas one year, a couple years back.
That's
local
super
guy.
cool.
That's
Yeah, I thought it
cool.
was kind of neat.
That's what you need to throw on the 3D printer. Make some of those bad boys. My
It'd take me a
s-
week to figure that out.
Yeah. My sons have a free flight guy that is remote control, and he's getting new servos. It's been a while since the guy's been working on it, but as soon as it's done, it'll be cool. Your remote control free flight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
you know,
neat.
they
Very
got the
cool.
planes out there. I've seen them flying them when I was there.
Oh
Hoppy
yeah.
King's got one that's a paramotorist, but
Yep.
you know, you can kind of
Oh,
just kill the motor and just kind of free fly it. Still pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, Paradude has been flying at Torrey Pines, and one day he ended up on the cliff's edge, and way down there, somebody called. Somebody called and said that a glider crashed on the cliff. So rescue shows up to Torrey Pines, and we're all standing at the edge. Rescue comes running over. They're ready for war. And we're like, no, it's not a real person. It's a remote control. And the guys were like, oh, that's cool. You want us to rescue him? And they rescued him off the cliff's edge. They roped down and they got him. They
Yeah.
brought him back. Yep. No joke.
Heck yeah,
Yep.
Good
that's
practice.
fun. Those guys, they love doing their work. I mean,
And they
most of their work is either training or
Yes,
waiting, right? And they
exactly.
go out for like once a week to go do something for real.
yeah.
That's,
They used it as a training opportunity.
yeah, of course. You know, break
Why
the gear
waste
out,
it?
make the moves. I love
Yep.
it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Those guys are the real heroes.
Yeah, no joke.
Mhm.
We've had a couple incidences in the last year or so. One of them, which a buddy of mine got hurt on the cliff's edge, took a full collapse, recovered just in time to not, beat
Touch
himself down.
more gently
Yeah,
than full gravity.
yeah, he got away with one for sure. Should have been
A sip
probably much
instead of
worse.
a chug. I like it.
Yep. And those rescuers had their hands full. The helicopter rescuers made a couple rescues this year too. So yeah, so glad that you guys are here. We're at that 1 hour mark. So appreciate everybody. We're gonna go to the after show. If you want to join the after show, just put your email in the description. We'll send you an invite. And Kyle's probably going to go home soon, but if you want to jump on real quick, just send it over. Really appreciate everybody that's been a part of the show. iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding, iflyindiana.com is the website. Lone Star Paramotor, if you want to check out their website, lonestarparamotor.com. Also, Torrey Pines Glider Port at flytorrey.com. Don't forget about supporting Resurgence PPG. You can do that by going to resurgenceppg.com. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody being. Kyle, thank you so much for staying late
yeah.
at work to come on the show. Really appreciate you, man. And
I like it, man. I
your
like it.
feedback is always amazing. And we'll do it again very soon. We waited way too long to have you on the show. I know
Correct.
you've been busy. So glad that you could come and make time for us.
Wait,
So
I gave all my pharmacists the day off, so I had to come work the whole day today anyway.
let's see your left pinky finger, sir. Look at that. That is
Hey, I can still bend it, and like it works. I can type. I can shovel. I can pick my nose with it, maybe my ear, but you know, it mostly works. I just can't bend these two. Now this one, funny enough, it was already wrecked. This is the one that got wrecked in the propeller. So both of these knuckles are just toast, but
wore out.
Wow.
it's in a good bend. I can put a glove on, you know, it's
Right.
it ain't as silly as it seems. The video I just made though was it's probably coming out sometime in next week. It's like 12 days after, like I'm still wrapped up. I know that what's going to happen is people are going to watch that thing and be like, "Oh my God, you did it again!" And
You did it again.
like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you got hurt."
That's funny.
But this video is from like August, so I'm getting caught up though. I'm all the way to August now.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys. Really
Thanks,
appreciate you.
Kyle. Merry
Have a Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. We'll see you next Thursday. We've got a great guest lined up. Next week, we have Max Marion from Torrey Pines. It's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about SIV. We're going to talk about training and a bunch of other good stuff. You don't want to miss it. Paraglidingtalk.com. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in there. Thanks for watching. You guys are awesome.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.